Bowling alley, are you bowling? I don't know if he can hear me. I guess not.
Connecting to audio, it says. There he is.
Hey, Hervik, are you in a bowling alley? Where are you, man? You got to hit that unmute button.
Bowling alley? Nah, I'm at a place called Sports Grill.
Sports Grill.
Sports Grill, famous for Dale Wings. Miami Heat, Dale Wings.
There you go.
What are you guys up to?
So it's a sports bar.
Sports bar.
Well, of course, there's no alcohol there, so so that's all right.
What's he got? He got a beer?
Gotta be drinking. Gotta be drinking.
Cervecita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dose.
Just one. I'm a light drinker.
Yeah.
How's the action, Hervik? You keeping busy or what?
Yeah. Yep. I was actually going to tell you on this call that since yesterday I've started to make it a custom that after I get off the phone with somebody, depending on how the conversation is going and things are going, I sent them a thank you video right from my phone. And today I just left my house. I came over here to just take a break. I was printing out letters to follow up with the video. And primarily, I've been working a probate list, so that's where these are coming from, for the leads that I'm talking about.
Good. How old? Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I got you. Good. I don't do probates unless they drop in my lap from an attorney. I don't mess around with probates. But go for it, man. Go for it. That's good. And then also, I think the video will go really good. You be real sincere, ask them if they ever need any help. You're there for them. That kind of thing. So be different than everybody else. Give them services that nobody else can offer, and that nobody else is going to bother offering. So be a little different.
That's kind of what I communicate in the letter that I sent. I'm communicating that.
When they get that video and they see it's a real person and it's one-on-one, makes all the difference in the world, I think. I've gotten as many videos as I send out, and it's not that many, but I usually get a very good return on it. Especially if it was pretty much of a, an interesting call, an interested party. So that's good. Have you done a lot of those before? No, you're just starting to do it.
Well, I've decided that I need to focus on that list. And the reason is that I look back at like the last 2-3 years of the different deals that I've done. And as far as assignments of contracts, those are the ones that have yielded me the highest margins.
Sure.
Yeah. So I've made it a deal to just, to create a system create a system for the probate leads. And then, as well as work my other lists and stuff. But I just decided that I'm going to definitely nail down some systems for this type of lead and build from there.
Good. Very good. Got any deals we got to talk about tonight?
I got some stuff I've been working on. Yeah. I got a couple of things that are now pending to close actually in the next coming weeks. And then I got some other stuff that, if I don't have I have one other deal on the contract, don't have a secure buyer for it yet. And then another deal that's from the probate leads that I should be getting on the contract probably in the next couple of days.
Good. Very good. Anything we should talk about tonight? Anything you're putting together? You got any questions on? It's all good.
Well, Steve, now that you asked, I'll obviously, hold off until later in the call because I'm sure there's other people on the call. But the lead that I asked you about last week, which is 7.8 acres with a single family house on it.
Right.
There's been some new developments with that one. I got a price reduction. I actually got an offer come in, although the offer was $50,000, a $50,000 difference.
Doesn't matter. You got something to start with.
Yeah, I got something that I'm working on. I need to find out on one of those lots, the bigger one. It has a stream on it, so there's buffer zones, which kind of take up some room and there's less space to build on. But I need to figure out exactly how many lots I could put on that land. That'll probably get my buyer to pay a little more. If I could show him that, hey, you could put more than just 3 houses on that 6.8 acres or whatever it is.
Yeah. Cool. Where you at with the seller on that deal?
Spoke with the seller today. They're giving me another 30 days. I told them originally that I needed 60 days. Today's been 30. I spoke with them. I said, hey, look, I got 250 towards funding. You know, I haven't quite been able to get all the funding in order to meet your price requirement, which is now 300, but I got 250. You know, I just need to figure out how I could show my funder how I could, you know, I got to show him that I could build more houses on this land in order for him to fund me more.
What are you in the contract for?
Originally 395, and I'm down to 300 with the guy now.
Good job. Good job.
I'm working. And he said, no sweat. Keep working on it, you know.
It's the middle of the winter. Nobody's killing themselves.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. This is in Atlanta, so it's colder than Miami for sure.
It's freaking everywhere's cold right now. Good for you, man. Good for you. Yeah, you're gonna pull that one out. That's good. So you got 250 on the table, and you got him down to 300 already.
Yep. Correct.
So you just want to flip this thing. You don't want to keep it.
No, I don't want to keep it. It's too much going on. The single family home, it's part of the bigger parcel. So the house, if it's sold separately, it needs to be cut out of the parcel that exists.
You
So
talked to the
surveys.
municipality? Have you had a chat with the municipality about can you break it up and all, and the costs and all that?
I've talked to someone that I know whose family is into building, so she helped me break down what it would cost per lot, like down to like what the per lot price should be if you were to split these up and sell them. You know, so I kind of got an idea, or you know, I got a good reference for clearing out the lots, grading them, that type of stuff, getting utilities ready, and you know, just information that helped me realize.
You know, if you're gonna sell those lots, the lots, you know, to one contractor, don't be so smart. In other words, don't let him do his own homework. So this is what I got to get for. I know it's well worth it. In or out. If not, I got to go on to the next guy. Because they did this. I put this up for sale and I got 9 calls on it. So I mean, you know, but don't cut off your, you know, your legs. You know, just don't cut your legs out from under you. You know, don't do it that way, like I just said. Be a little more gingerly.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Herbeck?
No, that's it.
All right, man. We got Jason on the call. What's happening, Jason?
Hey, what's happening?
It's all about you, man. How's things?
Good. Heading back down to Roanoke tomorrow.
Roanoke.
Yeah,
Excited.
that's where my mom is. I'm about 5 hours from Roanoke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, how's she doing in that new place?
She's good. She's good.
Good.
Yeah, just going to check, just getting her settled in. So yeah, she's good though.
That's good. Well, that all worked out. Big project. So
Yeah.
all right. Anything we got to chat about tonight?
Nah, I don't think so. I'm still a little nervous about that deal in Florida, the lease option I have in Florida. I can't really you know, I talked to Claude and he said to do a preliminary title search to make sure that she's making the current payments are current. So I think that's my next move.
What did you ask her about the payment?
Sorry.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah, I can't. She just, anyway, long story short, I know the lady, she just lost her husband. So I'm at the point where I've left her 3 or 4 messages and I don't want to.
Just lost a husband?
Just not too long. Yeah. Less than 6 months ago. And I don't want to harass her at all. So I'm going to kind of just see if I can find out through the grapevine. I did talk to the tenants and they said there's no mail. Remember you had mentioned to do that. So they're not.
Did she ever live in this house?
She never lived in it. No, she lives right next door though. She lives right next door.
Really?
Yeah, right next door.
How far away is that from where you are?
I've driven down there many times. It's about let's see, 10 and a half, 11 hours. It's not that bad. I know you do it all the time from New York.
Yeah. But you know, I do a lot of driving, but I wouldn't spend 11 hours behind the wheel just to go ask a question.
Well, we're going down there next, we're going down on the 15th. We're flying down. So I think, it's a good possibility. I'm just going to take a ride over there. It's only 45 minutes
Yeah,
from where we're,
that makes sense.
from where we're going to be in Orlando. So it's only 45 minutes from Orlando to Melbourne.
I'm in Kissimmee.
Okay. Yeah, we're just taking a little vacation.
Where's the property?
The property's in Melbourne, which is going toward Cocoa Beach, toward the
Yeah, I
Atlantic
know where
side.
Melbourne is. I'm going to be up in Jacksonville. I got to go back. I got to see my mom in Jacksonville. She's in this nursing home.
Okay.
So when I'm done there, I mean, if you something, I'm going to be down until probably the second or third week in March. So if
Okay.
you get jammed up and I'm there, if I'm over that way, I'll go bang on the door for you.
All
Up to
right.
you.
I
I
appreciate
won't
that.
scare her. Don't worry. I won't scare her.
I know that.
You know?
I know that. I know. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'll holler at you when I'm down there then. I appreciate that, Steve.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah,
No
I don't know why
problem. When you going next week?
I'm tripping on it a little bit, but not till the 15th.
Yeah.
We're going down the 15th, which is until Monday through Saturday. We'll
You
be
stay in a
down there.
hotel down here or whatever?
Yeah, she's got Laura's got timeshare down there.
Cool.
She's got Hilton.
Cool.
Yeah,
Very good. La-di-da. Okay.
yeah.
Have a good time.
Appreciate
Thankful
it.
for that.
You say you're
Oh,
tripping
good.
on it a little bit. What do you mean?
I don't know why I'm leaning. I'm probably in my head about it, thinking that I'm probably making it worse than it really is in my head.
Making what worse? This business with the house?
Just thinking that, thinking the
Well,
worst.
you're in a good position. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Well, I told you
You're
I
in the
do
best
send,
spot.
I send her the money directly though. That's the only thing I really worry about.
It's
So
okay.
you're
How long have
nervous
you
that
had the
she's
house?
not paying the mortgage.
I think that's it. That's the one thing that I'm tripping on. So
She filed bankruptcy?
I don't know. See, that's the thing again. I don't want to lean in on her right now because of what she's going through. And
All this stuff is public record.
okay.
If she filed, it's on, you should be able to find out about it. I don't go chasing that stuff. I had collectors that did it.
Okay.
I don't chase it, but I know it's part of public record. If she
Okay.
lives in that county, whatever it is, or whatever, you should be able to look up and find out.
Okay.
First thing.
With
Second
your
thing
New
is
York
you're in a good- you're-
accent, you
you're
said you had some collectors.
Well, I was in the finance business for a long time, and my collectors would skip trace. And
Was
they-
any of them named Bruno? Did they break any legs or
Mhm.
anything like that, Steve?
I had Luco Brazzi. What are you kidding?
Luca Brazzi.
Luco
Yeah.
Brazzi. I had a
Yeah, I
guy.
remember.
I had a guy that was bigger than him.
Yeah,
And
he
the
was a
guy was-
badass.
The guy was as tame, and he had that same high pitched voice that that big prize fighter had.
Mike
What's his name?
Tyson?
Mike Tyson. He had a high voice, and this
Wow.
guy had hands like catcher's mitts. And he was a nice guy. He was just huge.
Yeah.
Huge, you know.
He didn't have a neck. His
Well,
neck
he-
was not. His
this
neck went
guy,
straight
I
into
think
his,
it was-
his chest, huh?
I don't know, man. He might have. I don't know. Who knows? Huge guy.
I hope he's
He was
not
almost-
listening.
Yeah.
I don't want him to
No,
track
I
you
don't-
down.
I don't think he's alive. When he worked for me, he was in his 70s, and that had to be 30 years ago, 25 years ago. So I think he's he used to collect money for the boys. So he
Yeah.
came to me when he was retired, looking for something to do. Anyways, all right, we'll get off that now.
Yeah.
Anything else, Jason?
Nah, I appreciate that. I think I will. I'll definitely give you an update when I'm down there. I'll give you a call if.
Yeah, sure. All right. I got something I want to talk about tonight.
Can I ask a question before we do that, Coach Steve?
Sure, man.
Let's assume I've got a condo. Motivated seller owner owns a condo in a building, large building. Let's say it's 14 stories, and let's say he just wants out, and he owes like 175. The property's probably worth somewhere around 190. Okay, but here's the kicker. The kicker is the HOA in the building charges $450 a month.
Right.
So is there any, okay, because I'm thinking lease option assignment or something like that, because that would be allowed here also. But Is there any circumstances wherein you would consider a subject to with this guy because he just wants to walk away? He would consider a take over my payments kind of deal.
You can do subject to as long as you can do that.
Well, but would you want to
What I do
with
is-
that 450 a
what's-
month?
I don't care. Well, the 450 and how much is the payment on the first?
Well, I don't
I just want to know if it's
It's-
going to cash flow.
It should. Okay, yeah, it should cash flow.
How much?
Is there? Well, probably 500 or 600 a month, I would guess.
And you're not taking any money out of your pocket to make it happen.
No, that's true. But is there any? What are the inherent risks here with this homeowners association? I got burned by one once, and I'm a little gun shy on it now.
And you need to call the HOA and ask for a seller's package. All right. Whatever.
All right.
I believe that's what they call
Yep.
it, a seller's package.
Yeah.
I don't deal with a lot of condos. I just don't.
Yeah.
I've got I don't even know if you can request it. You might have to have the seller request it. But
It's
you
got
can
the
call
rules
it-
and regulations and the
it's got
rights and
everything in there.
covenants
What
and
if-
all that
it's
stuff.
got
in it.
everything in there.
Yeah.
What if you find out that this HOA is they're in litigation with 7 different people that live there? They're getting sued by.
That's
What
a
if they're
good
insolvent?
point.
What if they're insolvent?
Hmm.
What if they've got liabilities for the next 3 years on putting new roofs in the pool inside this property that's all shot? Those are the things you got to worry about when you do condos, because they can levy against you for this HOA fees. You know, if the wind blows in the wrong direction and you get some psycho group inside there that's running this HOA, you could get, shaken out of town. But you know what?
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst, you know what I would do is give it back to the seller.
Yeah. Okay.
If he's
Yeah.
in
Good
foreclosure
point.
now, is he in foreclosure?
No.
Is he running close? Is he all paid up?
No, he's all paid up.
Well, you know what you tell this guy, Tom? You get him out of it right now. And worst comes to worst down the road, worst case scenario, if I default, what'll happen? I'll just give you the property back.
Yeah.
But you should
Yeah.
do that with everybody you do you
Subject
do that
to.
with, So I wouldn't, worst comes to worst, give it back to the guy, but
Yeah.
you
That's a
really
good
don't want to
point.
be in that business. What happened to my screen? Hold on a second.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of skittish of that.
I got a little input.
Go ahead, man.
Please.
Yeah, just in case, Justin, maybe check with the HOA as well about any rental restrictions, any rent restrictions.
Yeah. Yeah.
For resale. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Well,
Of
you
course.
started off the conversation saying that a lease option wasn't going to be a problem. So I'm
Right.
figuring that HOA
Correct.
is on board with it.
Yes.
So-
That's what I mean. Yeah. HOA's on board with it. They would also be on board with the subject too, of course.
When you're doing a condo in a big development, it's pretty easy to do your own value on that property. But what's going to happen in larger premises like this, sometimes the first, the second, or third floor and the top floor are worth more money than something in the middle, or something that's off the beaten track, or this one doesn't really have that much parking, or whatever. So all these things take into consideration. I've got a woman that does just condos, and she's got a course on it that she teaches. I mean, I was on the phone with her about 10 days ago. She called me, and we were just shooting the front. She goes, "Oh, I'd love to come on your Monday show." Yeah. But
Yeah.
she's got something to sell. It's not a lot of money, but if someone's really going to get involved doing condos, this woman's got everything she needs to know. Everything anybody needs to know on condos. And she ran a RIA up in Connecticut.
Gotta
One of the
hook us
biggest
up.
RIAs in the country.
Hook us
So-
up, man.
Yeah, we'll see. Find out. You get back to me. Let me know how many people really want to get involved with condos. And
Well,
There's a
there's
lot
I,
of
real
I
in-
wouldn't want to just because the HOA is outrageously. I mean, $450 a month, and
you don't know what they get for the $450 a month.
Well, I have some idea, yeah, but it's. I guess what I'm saying is I've been in the hot water with the HOA before, and man, the HOA is always going to win. Like basically, I can't beat the HOA. I can't
I
fight.
bought a few condos, as they say. All right. And it wasn't not recently, like say 3-4 years ago. A partner and I bought a slew of them. All right. and we got out of them all. We didn't make a lot of money on them, and we had problems with the HOAs and all that. But you know what? And some of them weren't capitalized enough to keep the doors open. Some of them, we came in the door, paid 40,000 for a condo, and they're selling them downstairs for 17 and upstairs for 150. The guys at 150 are all closing up and throwing the keys at the bank, and the guys at 17 downstairs are investors buying. So that's what happens in the bad times.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This time, man. I mean, you got to see what you're getting for the HOA is included. All right.
Right.
If they got a big, golf club, or they've got beautiful pools going.
Yeah, they got that.
If they have to include all the insurance outside.
Yeah.
All right. You got limited expenses on a condo.
Right.
All
Exactly.
right?
And you
So,
have these extra luxuries too, the
then
pool and the
you've got a
workout
lot.
room.
All you're responsible for is what's inside your four walls.
Right.
Outside of somebody cracking the car up and not parking in their space to some damn thing. So renovations on these are fairly cheap. That's the reason why this woman got involved with this. She was flipping houses up in Connecticut, and she was doing really well. Like I said, she owned the RIA up in Connecticut, one of the biggest in the country. Really successful person, right? And now they sold the RIA, and she's in Atlanta, and she's doing this down there. So perfect. She's in your backyard.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's looking
You
for
said
deals
Atlanta?
and a place to put money. You maybe you hook up with her.
You said in Atlanta?
Atlanta. She's outside of Atlanta somewhere. Yeah.
Because I was thinking that would probably be good down here in this market in South Florida, Miami. There's condos everywhere.
Very expensive.
Yeah, they're crazy expensive, and they trade like fast in some cases. I mean, they're kind of in high demand in these frou-frou. These buildings are, they're enough to make, in some cases, to make your mouth water. When you walk in, it's like, oh, this is like resort living. Oh, I want to live in a hotel.
Let's say, for example, somebody's got a high-end place, resort living, really fancy, blah, blah, whatever, and it's in Fort Lauderdale. I guess that's a nice area still. I don't know. All right, Fort Lauderdale, all right? And the guy wants $500,000 for it. Now, a lot of these condos down there, and all around Florida, some of them you can't even finance. You can't hold them. The banks won't mortgage them. That's also part of what she shows you. All right.
Really?
There can only be a certain portion, or there has to be a minimum of a certain portion.
Oh.
That'll be FHA or whatever the case may be. Otherwise, they're not involved with it.
Wow.
So let's say, for argument's sake, this guy.
So totally different lending requirements. It's underwritten completely different.
Underwriting comes in with as far as it's been a while, all right. But underwriting comes in when you go to a lender. If the guy wants to run it through FHA or a government-backed program, there's certain guidelines. I don't remember what they were, but there's certain guidelines as to the number of properties have to be the way, because they come in and they do their inspections and all that, and the underwriting, whatever it is, there has to be a certain amount of people on that premises that already have FHA financing or whatever. And if you want to pull in more, I'm not saying there's limits. I don't remember what it was. Maybe I'll bring her on here and she can explain that. But if I'm going to bring her on, I got to have a bunch of people asking questions.
Oh, let's do it.
So let's go backwards a second. All right, Hervik, hear me out. $500,000 condo. This place is the creme de la creme, top door. It's a nice place. There's more expensive in this building than the $500,000. Let's just say this is right across the middle. And let's say these are going to be crazy numbers. Let's say the HOA is $1,000 a month. All right. So this guy's got this property, and let's say it rents for, I don't know, $3,000 a month. All right. What do you do with this property? Guy calls you and says, listen, I want out. I've had this place up for sale. I can't get rid of it. I'm living in New Orleans and the place is empty and I'm paying $1,000 a month in rent in HOA. Place is empty. What can you do for me? Well, you find out what it rents for. It rents for $3,000 a month. Take away the HOA. Now it's $2,000 net. All right. You go back and you offer the guy $1,200 a month. I'll give you seller finance it to me. I'm not talking about a lease option. He owns the place outright. He's got no mortgage on it. Or from $1,200 a month. Start making the payments on it. You want money up front? And I'll tell you what, how about I prepay the rent? I don't like giving people money down payments, but I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll make 6 months worth of rent payments up front for you. How's that? No, I want to get money anyway, but then forget the next 6 months I'm not paying. That's just another trick, right? Another way to structure a deal. But
That's good.
if you can get seller financing on these properties that are condos and the deals make sense, if someone comes in the door and they got that kind of coin to be able to do a rental, you can flip this thing, hold your own mortgage on it and sell it. If they hold, you're gonna wrap the first, which is to your seller, or to your original seller. You'll do nothing but make money on these things. There's one thing you could do: just go after condos that don't have mortgages on them.
Right.
Because anybody can
idea.
transfer, but before you get too deep with these things, go over that seller's package that they have, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be afraid of it. If you can cash flow it, that's what this game is all about. I'm not going in there for the equity. That's a dream. Right now, all this that's happening, that's my next conversation, is a lot of this is smoke. All right. But the doing something like this condo, and you're gonna go in and you're gonna solve his problem. And I believe there's a lot of these around.
Yeah. Oh, I believe that too.
They might not be in the Fort Lauderdales of the country, but well, maybe they are, and they just
I find them everywhere, man.
Bit,
all these major cities, it's condos now. There's just loads of them.
But you also got to remember something. People my age don't want to buy another house. I don't want to cut lawns. I don't want to paint outside. My kids are married and gone.
That's great news.
One of them is, anyways. And,
that's great news, because I think you'll pay the rent.
You don't want any of that shit. I would love to move into a condo. My wife won't hear of it, right? Oh, we don't want to live in an apartment. Whatever. All right. I'm going to take her down. We're going down to Fort Myers in a couple of weeks. I'm taking my wife down. We're going to go to Ionati's condo. This place is huge. Yeah. So, but
that's awesome.
And he's another guy. He doesn't want to buy anything at his age. He goes, you know what? I'll buy him for an investment. But I'm not buying a house for myself. You know how many real estate? That's another conversation. How many people I know in real estate that will not buy themselves a house, they just rent?
Yeah.
Major players.
Yeah.
Major players with big coin in the bank would just rent. They says, we want to stay liquid. We don't want to tie money up in a house. What are you, crazy? Yeah. We'll just stay liquid. I don't care about tax write-off. That's bullshit. Really?
That's the nouveau riche, right?
I don't know. All right. So we talked our condos out. Hervik, think about that.
Thanks, Coach Steve.
Yeah.
That was helpful.
We're just spitballing here right now.
I like it. Now,
I had a comment. All right. Anybody else got a question before I go off on a tangent?
Well, I was going to say, if Justin wants to send any condos in major cities like Miami this way, I'm going to turn around and Airbnb them. So send those leads this way.
You got to look and see if you can do that.
True. I got to check with the HOA short term. But
they're all going to tell you.
Worth a try.
They're all going to tell you. No,
they're all going to talk to the neighbors.
So we're gonna have to offer them on Backpage then, on Craigslist.
Whatever.
That's one of those things that you want to ask permission, not for forgiveness, right?
There you go. All right. Anybody else got a question before I go off on my tangent here? We got some people on board.
You got a deal, Hervik. If I come up with something down there, man, we'll try to work something out. That sounds like fun.
For sure. If anything, like Steve said, we'll just give it back. It doesn't work out.
You don't ever want to have to do that. But in the worst case scenario, I mean, you can do that with anything. You're not
okay.
We'll just use it for the summer.
Don't put a lot of properties into that. Don't put any more properties into the trust. That's it. Just sit alone. Standalone properties.
Well,
if I went to Florida for the week, could I stay in it?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll just hold it for the summer. Like Steve says,
that's the biggest money making time, I bet, man. We want to.
We could work virtually from South Beach or something, Fort Lauderdale.
That sounds great.
All right, all right. I think we got somebody else on here.
We could get
Rick.
bunk beds.
Rick's back. Rick from Tennessee. What's happening, man? How's it going, Rick?
Good, sir. How are you?
Doing all right. Look at this guy. He's all bundled up. Look at this.
I
guy.
know.
A little cold there, huh? Where are you?
Yes, sir. At Chattanooga.
Wow.
Look,
wow.
are you at the grocery store?
Yes.
All right.
That's awesome. What are you getting, man? Dinner?
No, some snacks. So
That's good. That's good. All right. You got any questions for us tonight?
no, not at this point.
All right.
Thank
Just
you,
hang in there. Hang in
Yes.
there. We'll be in here for a while. I got a, all right. Anybody else got a question before I go way off base here? All right. Now, I had a conversation yesterday with a realtor down here in Florida, right? And I'm wondering how the hell it is that I've got a property that I paid hardly, let's just say 12 years ago, basically nothing for, have rented it now for the last 12 years. And as of about 6 months ago, 5 months ago, and we're going to use Zillow just for the fun of it, this house was on Zillow for $175,000. Okay, ridiculous. The house is probably worth 125, right? So now I turn around and my tenant says to me about a year ago, she says, you ought to look at this house next door that's all empty. Because I think it's in foreclosure, but it's got a problem with the floor. So what are you talking about? Well, you go look at it. So I walk next door. I stick my head in the window and there's a palm tree growing up through the floor, right? A palmetto tree, something growing up through the floor in the living room. Broke the foundation, or was already cracked, probably already cracked in the floor. So this house needed a lot of work. So it was still sitting there. Last time I even managed to even see this house was probably about 3 months ago. And it was still sitting there lousy. Well, somebody bought this house, an investor, did the 1-2 on it, cleaned it up, spit shined it and all, and put it up for sale for $275,000. And now you look at what the properties are worth in the neighborhood.
Wow.
And this thing is on Zillow for 271, and it's on what's that?
Wow.
What is that? Redfin.
Redfin.
It's on Redfin for 269, something like that.
Wow.
So I'm talking to this realtor. I says, how the hell is this going on? She says, do you know who the seller is? So I rattled it off who I thought the seller was. I found the name on PropStream, and it was a brand new thing. They're long. A lot of these places are tough getting the data. It's not right away, right? But the property, it says, just changed hands like within the last 2 months. So I rattled off the name, and she says to me, hang on a minute, right? And she called somebody and talked to them for a second. She goes, all right, they're a hedge fund. I go, yeah. She says they went through the neighborhood and they bought 40 houses within a half-a-mile radius. I go, yeah. Some of the homes they stole. All right. The majority, the ones they bought in the last month, they paid, you could say, list price for the houses with no adjustments, no nothing. So what happened was they drove the prices way up because they bought so many homes in that half-a-mile circumference, half-a-mile radius, right? So they're doing this all over the country. Think about that a minute.
Yeah.
So now they're willing to get in. They got to buy the houses quick. They rehab them quick and they get out. They want to be out, in and out in 120 days, right? So they're buying these turkeys. They're buying homes that need lots of work and they're stealing them, right? Because they know on the back end, right down the block, there's a nice house, fairly decent, and they're going to pay top dollar for this house. Right. So if they buy a half a dozen of these houses and close on them within a month's time, is that going to play around? Is that going to go ahead and change what property values are in that neighborhood? You're damn right. So if the numbers are probably a lot higher than that. All right. Just out of this woman's brokerage, she knew the company right off the top of her head. And she says they probably bought in the last 6 months, just in the general area, there probably 50 to 100 houses in this market. So he said, what is how? Now, these guys aren't stupid. They're playing with hundreds of millions of dollars. And they only want to get, hedge funds want to turn money fast. So if they can get a big spread and get in and get out with hardly any liability, they'll do it. So they're buying houses on the cheap when they go into a neighborhood. And then right before they get ready with their plan, they start buying heavy and they're paying crazy money for houses to drive the market value up. And the ones they pay big bucks for, they basically just sell them off. The ones that they stole, they're making big bucks on. And they're not selling one, they're selling 30, 40, 50 of them. Is that driving the market right now? I don't know.
So it's like they're creating their own after repair values.
It's like chasing the
Yeah.
money on the stock market.
Yeah.
I know there's a fellow on Long Island, big automotive guy, was buying Bitcoin. And he'd go into Bitcoin and he'd buy 150, 200 million on Bitcoin. Then he'd spend the same, not that much, 5 to 10 million on Bitcoin. Then he'd spend another 2 or 3 million advertising it, spending, not advertising, but sending out, having a promotional company go out and push Bitcoin, write up all kinds of stuff. They were
Right.
all over social media, everything.
Right.
And he more than almost picked up such a huge spread on that money. And he knew exactly when to get out. And he'd get out and he'd make all this spread. It was gambling, but this guy's got big bucks, you know.
Wow.
Every time he goes back to the well, he's bringing more money with him, you know. So, but doing this with the houses. I'm sitting there after I talked to this woman, my head was spinning. I called a friend of mine up on Long Island, and he says to me, "It's happening all over the country, Steve." And this guy is in tune with the market. So now, are we looking at a phony market? Are we looking at real numbers? Are we looking at what to buy? I'm not saying we should stop buying houses right now. I just can't find anything worth buying. That's part of the issue. I mean, a house that I sold in April for 159 grand, they're telling me is worth 260 grand now. The house went up $100,000 since April. $100,000 since April, and it's in a C neighborhood. So what is that? What's going on with this market?
In a C neighborhood. Huh?
Yeah. So anyways, so I just thought I'd run that past you guys just for shits and giggles, and think about this because you know, they have the opportunity, they have the money, they have the opportunity to go ahead and do all that. You and I don't. I don't care how much money you raise, and they've got some real smart people up there making these decisions as to what they're going to be doing and how quick to get in and how quick to get out. And they've got all these realtors that are sitting there. They don't give a shit. They're just collecting checks. So I don't know. I'm not saying that's the entire market. I'm not even saying it's half the market or a quarter of the market. I'm just saying they're going into areas and they're buying like crazy. Areas that have inventory or had inventory over the last year. All right. And they're doing their thing. So anyways, something to think about. And that's what I got for you tonight.
Well, if they're buying houses at full market value and stuff, do they need somebody that can go contract a bunch of them for them?
They're looking for stuff all over the country.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a trust company, and they're not telling anybody, you know, a trust. They're not telling anybody who they really are, you know. So it's like Disney when they were going to buy Central Florida up, they bought everything inside of minor trusts, and you know they did lease options on everything. Well, we got to get the rest of these properties together, and every trust was in a different name, so they didn't know who they're selling the properties to. You know, so that's how they got all that property together in Central Florida. All in trusts and lease options.
I went
Pretty
into
cool.
a neighborhood.
Oh, look who we got. What's up, man?
How you doing? I went into
Good.
a neighborhood last week, and actually, my wife was buying a plant from the lady, so I went along with her. So they was moving to Tennessee, so I naturally tried to buy the house. When I asked about it, she said you have to talk to the builder. Apparently, and this was a real late model neighborhood, but all the houses in that neighborhood was rent to own.
Or I've seen
That's
builders,
subdivision.
I've seen
That's
builders that
Yeah.
put up these extraordinary properties, extraordinary night neighborhoods, and they got
Yeah.
right of first refusal in the deed. How's that?
Yeah. That was
Right
the
of
first
first refusal. Yeah.
time I had seen that, where you go into a neighborhood where the builders, the whole subdivision is rent to own.
Get used to it. It's coming. You're gonna see a lot more of it. Where was this
Wow.
property? Jerry, where was this property?
In Riverview, Florida.
Okay. Yep, I know where it is. Yeah. Well, I think, I think that's gonna be a big thing. There's so much money sitting on the sidelines right now. And the price of materials and construction and all, I understand that's coming down a bit. Not crazy like it was a couple of months ago. Not that it's cheap, but I mean, it's the prices are coming down. But so these guys are back to work. I saw them clear a piece of property in like 3 months down outside of Fort Myers. This has got to be like 3 miles by 3 miles. I mean, as far as you can see, and they already got the roads going in. So it's going to be houses all over. Incredible. The building, what's going on down here. So what else you got going on, Jerry?
Not much, just working on a couple of lease option deals.
Good for
Good to see you, man.
Good for
Yeah.
you. Good for you. All right, man. So what else, Justin? What do you got going on?
That's all I had for tonight, man, was condo questions.
Well, you asked during the week, and
Oh.
if you get enough people together and it's worthwhile, I'll bring her in on a Monday night.
I'd like that. That
She'll
sounds
answer
good.
all
That's
kinds
a
of
good
questions.
plan.
She does a presentation, but she's looking to sell stuff. But
Right.
I think her program's like $700 or $800, something like that. But it's in depth. I mean, if you really want to do condos and you got any kind of questions, you'd be stupid not to spend this money and buy this thing. Because I don't know anybody else that's got a course like this that talks about condos. And there's a lot of stuff you really don't think about
Right.
until you
Yeah.
all of a sudden, you're in the thick of it,
Right.
So if I was going to get involved with condos ever again, and I already bought a program, I got it sitting on my computer, but I helped her with some stuff that was on it. I went to a class that she had, and I was asking all kinds of questions, and she wanted to write them down and putting them in the book and all on her presentation. So, but nice lady, and she dots the I's and crosses the T's. She's a pro.
That's great.
All right.
great.
So you ask around this week, and if you get enough people
Yeah.
that are interested, then I'll bring her in.
Yeah. I certainly will.
All right. Has anybody else got? I'm racking my brain with this Facebook, trying to get ads on and off of this thing. Every time I turn around, the pages are different. The God knows whatever. I hired a guy this morning from Pakistan on Fiverr. That's just, yeah. We got an hour and a half to go. Show me how to do this damn thing, right? And run these ads. Okay. He gets on there. He goes, oh, wait a minute. This is different from yesterday. He was on it doing business yesterday, and it changed from yesterday to today, but they don't tell you anything.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm tearing my hair out with this thing. Every time I get on it, I think I got it. Boom, it blows up again. So I'm trying to hire somebody that just handle that whole social media thing for me, so I can just go on to bigger and better things, as they say. All right, gents.
It's a good
Anything
idea.
else? Anybody else got anything else to report?
Steve, what are you working on?
I'm sorry, sir.
What are you working on?
What am I working on? I'm down here in Central Florida. I did a whole bunch of postcards out because I want to get dried up homeowners, as they say, that are renting out properties that are just done. I want tired homeowners like everybody else, though. We're all chasing the same stuff. So, until something happens in this economy, I think we're all going to be chasing the same stuff. I got a big shopping center up on Long Island I'm working on. That's an estate deal. There's too many people involved. Everybody's got a freaking opinion, and all the people are scattered all over the country. I'm working on that. Couple of houses, but there's nothing down. They're all up north that I'm probably going to wind up. One might wind up being a subject to, and I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with this other one. So, but I haven't seen the second one, the last one. I haven't seen that yet. They just called me a couple of days ago. So, what else? Taking care of my rentals down here. That's a full-time job these days. As these houses get older, oh Lord, they need more and more work. I put an ad on Craigslist for a handyman. So I'm probably going to head back down there in a couple of days and look over this roof that they replaced on one of my houses and get and hire another handyman. So I lost my last guy with COVID. He was a good guy, man. What a shame. What else? That's what I got going on, Jerry. Right this minute.
Hard to find a good handyman in Florida.
It's a trick. It's a trick. Most of the people I'm interviewing that I'm interested in are coming from up north that are down here right now, and they're doing some work and they're getting along. I said, I don't want to offer somebody a job. Everything I'm doing is per diem. And as you do the job, you're going to get paid. Simple as that. So a couple of guys call and say, oh man, we're real desperate. We got to work. That's the last guy I want. That's the last guy I want. So it's tough to find craftsmen down there. You know that. It's really, really tough,
Hey, Steve, if you're saying that you don't pay until the job is complete, how do you do in regards to materials?
Usually, depending on the person, all right? And I got to be very, very careful with this. If you supply materials to a contractor, now he's your employee. And you got to be careful with that. If I'm paying his corporation or whatever, I can probably, whatever, play a little game with that with the court system and the Department of Labor or whatever the hell else is down here. But IRS says, and I'm not giving legal mumbo jumbo here, I'm not an accountant, but I've run into a problem with this where I did supply materials and I got caught with someone that fell off a roof of a house. So, and that was not a good situation, but we worked it out. It all came out in the wash. But what I like to do, ideally, is just pay people labor. And they go to Home Depot and they pick out what I need and they put in my phone number at the cash register and I get text in a message what it is they're looking for, how much, and approve or disapprove. Bingo, and they're out the door already. That works fabulous. And I do that in 4 states.
And does that solve the employee problem?
No,
you were talking about?
I'm still supplying the goods. They're not buying it.
Okay.
So I'm still on the hook for it. So I mean, if I get really warm and fuzzy with somebody, I don't give a damn. You want to go buy the stuff? That's great. Put 10% on top of it. I don't care. Oh, that's great. Oh, good. You're transporting the shit anyway. I don't care. But a lot of the people they're just not capitalized to do this. My last guy. The guy I hired in between the real good guy I had, this guy only lasted about 10 days. His work was real shoddy, but that's what you get for using cameras when you're not there. They're going to take advantage of you. So, but this guy's work was from hunger. I got to hire somebody to go back and go redo this stuff now, but you got to be careful. If I feel really good about this guy and he's careful and I'm there and I see the work that he's doing and he's working either by himself or he's got some tradesman with him, I'll do Home Depot. If he's not, let him buy the stuff. I don't give a damn. Or I'll front him some money maybe or something like that. If it's not a lot of money, And after we get more warm and fuzzy with each other and I know the guy's, going to be, he's not having accidents and taking this, cutting off his fingers and all that with the saws. All right. So then I'll do the Home Depot. Answer your question, Harvick?
Yeah. Well, I think you answered your own question. Do not hire me as a handyman.
I can't hire myself as a handyman. Are you kidding? Don't give me a hammer and a board. Those days are over. So yeah, it's all good. Anyways, so that's what's happening. If anybody's got somebody that's really good on social media, let me know because I need help with this program. You're good
Hey,
with
Steve,
social media?
No, I got two things for you.
Shoot.
One of them, I was at the Miami Dade RIA last week,
Wow.
and I bumped into a gentleman that he sells. But he kind of said something similar, something that led me to say I gotta put you and him in contact. I gotta put Steven and that guy in contact.
I would have
together.
loved
He
to have
said,
gone to that meeting.
yeah, it was pretty good. It was the first one that the Miami Dade RIA, the first meeting they've had in 2 years. So it was some informative stuff for sure. But the gentleman I met, he said that he buys businesses that are going under. And I was like, I got to put him in contact with Steve.
I don't buy businesses that are going under.
Or something similar to that. Something to do with businesses.
I actually do just the opposite. I look for a company that's doing well and that wants to sell and does a good volume of business every in and out, and they got a good balance sheets, good financials and all. And what we do is take the entire business, the property, all his assets, put them all on a contract. This is a very simple explanation, and lease the whole thing out.
Okay.
And any materials that are involved are all separate. But the equipment, the building, all that's included in the lease.
Yeah, and I think he might have said something about buying the materials, tools, or whatever is associated with the building. Something he said, I was like, all right, maybe I got to put him in contact with Steve. So that was one thing I wanted to tell you. And then the second thing was I was on the phone with Mag earlier today, and Mag has a VA that helps me with just Facebook. So maybe you could, part-time his VA or something.
I got to call Mag.
There you go.
Who is he tonight? He's not here. First time since we're doing this.
Yeah, I just wrote him a message. He said he was helping with his mom with something.
Tell him to call me. Tell him to call Steve. Steve needs his help. So it's all good. All right, gentlemen. Anything else to report tonight? Any questions, comments? Going once. Going twice.
Hold on a second.
Oh,
If you guys stick around a little longer, maybe I'll get another beer. Chit chat with you guys a little longer.
You guys want a beer? Get two.
It's a good plan.
So, Coach Steve, where are you getting the list that you're marketing to for the tired landlord?
I get all my lists from PropStream.
Okay.
And I'm a little disenchanted with PropStream over them yanking this
Oh,
business with the MLS.
oh, come on! Don't break up with them.
Well,
now.
they're a title company that bought it, so they got they got to lean more towards the realtors because they bring them so much business and all that crap. That's all that's about.
And how are you dealing with that?
I'm just working around it. The biggest thing, what I like to do is go after properties where the seller has tried to sell it and the deal is expired with the MLS, on the MLS. So now that property, as far as I'm concerned, is up for grabs. So if it failed, they didn't get a chance to sell it. That's great. Now I also subscribe to a list company for just all they send me. Well, they send me more than I need. They're sending me FSBOs, which are current, but they send me expireds, which are not accurate. I mean, some of these guys have already been back on the market and sold already. So, I mean, at least I know it varies per market, per area, because it's just data. So the data in, data out. If you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. So and it's not that. It's only true. It happens to be true in a couple of the markets that I work. So, is what it is. Go ahead, Rick.
And with the current situation, would you recommend wholesaling or rehab the property and flip it, or buy and hold? I've got a really good deal
Any
that
properties? You're saying any
I
property?
got a real no, I got a really good deal. The ARV is 169, 170. I
Right.
locked in for 60K, but the house
How
needs
much work, how
around,
much work is the house gonna need to bring it
around
up to?
40, 45. It
So
needs
it's,
a
so
roof
you,
and
yeah,
45 to 50.
so you're looking at around $100,000.
Right, 110
Hundred and so.
max. Max.
Okay, and up to 170, so you got a nice spread there, $60,000.
Right.
So what do you want to do with this house?
I was thinking of a buy and hold would be a good one, or just where the market is. You never know. Murphy comes in and some other things, just wholesale it or keep it for long term.
You got access to private money?
Yes.
Can you get the private money to pay the house off?
Yeah. I'm talking to two
Then why don't
people.
you, okay, so then why don't you turn
6%.
around?
Mhm.
Well, you don't do a damn thing to the house. Just I shouldn't say that. Clean it up, make sure it's inhabitable. All right.
Right.
If it needs
Okay.
a roof, put a roof on it. You know,
Yes.
don't sell a house with a leaking roof and all that. If
Right.
the sheetrock inside is all caved in, replace the sheetrock. Common
Okay.
sense, but don't go putting kitchens in there unless it's missing and all. It's not an expensive house. So you
Right.
turn around, you got 110,000, maybe 125,000 in it after you clean it up and close. So what stops you from selling a house for 200? Get $20,000 down and sell a finance the rest and wrap the front mortgage.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what my thing was. A lease option or just wrap it
No,
around?
not a lease option.
Not a lease
Sell and
option.
hold the note. Sell
Okay.
and hold the mortgage. Or
Okay.
you do what I do. I don't like doing that out of the box unless it's not a big spread.
Mhm.
You know, it depends what your goal is, but I would lease option the house for the first year
Okay.
so that if now it goes into long-term capital gains.
Right.
And then, on the 13th month and on, I can sell this sucker. I can do whatever I want with it. And now it's no longer, now it's long-term capital gains. So if you turn around and you sell that house and you
Okay.
hold the note on it, you're going to make an obscene amount of money on it.
Right. So, because what if, because I don't know, but what if 2 years, 3 years down the road, the market goes down?
So what?
And okay.
So what?
So
You're just a
you're
bank.
being the bank. Yeah. So you don't
You're a
care.
bank. So you know what? All right, let's talk about that a minute.
Okay.
Let's say the market goes down to $130,000. This house that you sold for 200 grand is only worth 130,000.
Right.
And now your primary guy, the guy that
Right.
loaned you the money, that
Uh-huh.
was at 110 is probably down around 100 right now.
Right.
So he's got a $30,000 spread.
Okay.
The customer says, listen, I don't want this house no more. Screw you. I got it, whatever. And hands you back the keys. Let's say you're not going through a whole foreclosure. Tennessee, you're in Tennessee, right? Tennessee,
Yes. And this house is in
Tennessee's
Georgia.
non-judicial.
Right. But this house is in Georgia.
Ugh, it's also non-judicial.
Not judicial. Yes.
Yeah, so you can get the house back fairly quick. I'd
Right.
say to the seller, the buyer, thank you very much. Turn around, clean the house up, and sell it again with seller financing. Because what happens when the market drops? Banks
Right.
are scared, right? So what
Right.
happens? People still got to live in houses, right?
Right.
So what happens when the market's falling and falling and falling? Everybody's
Mhm.
getting foreclosed on. It's a problem. So what happens? There's less and less properties around to rent.
Okay.
So what do? You turn around, and now I'm going to be the only guy probably in town that's got a house for sale for $20,000 down, and I'm going to sell it for 150, 160, 170,000. I don't care what the market's doing.
Okay.
I never care what the market's doing. When I sell or finance my houses, I go by the rent. If I can
Okay.
rent the house for $1,700 a month, that to me is $190,000 house.
Okay. Got it.
Don't worry
And
about the
who-
market dropping. I mean, just don't go stupid buying
Right.
houses that need a lot of work and you're upside down in them. But this
Yeah.
one you don't want. I mean, I'd be happy to give you out of it. You want a wholesale? Call me.
Right. Okay. But would you suggest, and when I'm talking to the private money person, should I go for a 30-year fixed 6% loan or interest only
No,
loan? How should I do?
you don't talk about interest rates.
Okay.
Okay.
So what should I tell?
First thing you
How
do
should I-
is, have you raised any private capital? Have you done any deals using private
Before,
capital?
yes, yes,
Yes. Okay.
yes.
All right. So you go to the person, I'm looking for long-term money, long-term capital. All right.
Right.
Long time is 30 years. The only people that'll probably do that is a younger person with with an IRA.
Okay.
Because they don't care about, they can park this money in your deal and let it sit there for 30 years. That's a great
Okay.
investment. All right.
Right.
Especially with the top end that you've got that's spread for
Okay.
equity. All right. So
Right.
now hear me out. All right. I don't go by values of properties when
Okay.
it comes to when I'm selling. I look and see how much I can get as far as income, and I look and see what my seller finance value is of that property.
Okay.
That's what I look at. That's what Mitch Stevens showed me that. I didn't invent this. All right.
Okay.
And that's how he sells all his properties, and it's smart. It's almost
Okay.
like the way they do with commercial property. They
Okay.
base the sale price, a lot of it, on what the net income is on the property.
Mhm.
That's how I sell and seller finance my houses. I go by
Okay.
the rents. All right. So now I got off key. Where was I? Blah, blah, blah. Just do it. Go tie this house up. Get it done. Are you already in contract on it? I lost him. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, hit the mute button again, Rick. Sorry. Unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah, I already
Okay.
got the contract. I already had it notarized, the memorandum. I already gave to the title company this morning to record the memorandum also.
Okay, what you got to do is you want to raise whatever you're going to need
Okay.
to finish this deal.
Right.
So to finish the deal, you might need 140 grand.
Okay. So
If
should
the
I
house
just,
is- If the house is worth 200 grand, you're bringing the guy in at 60 cents on a dollar. Is that right? 612? No, you're in 70 cents.
70 cents. Yeah, at 140.
Yeah, so maybe you want to borrow 130,000 from the guy.
Okay.
All right. Because you're also going to get, if you do what I'm asking you to do, sell or finance this thing, all
Mhm.
right, you're going to get a down payment from your buyer.
Right.
So that's going to take out, if you have to go and put any money into it, if you don't get quite enough, don't rob your lender.
Right. Yes.
All right. So
Right.
if he says, well, no, you know what? I really want to put this money in for 10 years. I want to,
Mhm.
can you balloon it at 10 years? If that's your guy and he's going to give
Mhm.
you all the money, you balloon your contract at 10 years.
Okay.
Talk to it before you before you accept that money, talk
Mhm.
to an RMLO.
Okay.
Okay. And find out if you can write a balloon payment on these mortgages these days. I don't do it. I haven't done
Okay.
it. If I do anything, I go out to 40 years.
Okay.
I just wrote a 40 year note.
But you want me to fix the house nice and good, right?
No.
Explain why-
Just make it inhabitable. You're gonna sell this house as a fixer upper.
Okay. Then it will not need 70,000 in repair
No,
because I know it needs
okay.
new. Yeah, I know it
Okay.
needs roof because with water damage and stuff like that. So, my guess is if I'm not fixing the kitchen and I'm not fixing the bathroom or putting the LVP or LVT on like the tile, I'm guessing probably around less than $30,000 because I know it needs roof and it
So if
needs
it's 30 and
the
you're
ceiling
paying
and everything.
60, you back up to 90, closing
Yeah, max
costs,
100.
get me ready, you're at 100. So I mean,
Right.
decide what you're gonna do with this house
Okay.
before you close.
Right. Yes.
So I mean, you're gonna, if it's me, I'm making a trip over to the house. I put my
Right.
hands on everything that I'm gonna be in long term. I want to see
Okay.
the house. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah,
trust
I've been
me.
to the house 3 times. Yeah,
Okay.
in the last 5 days.
So that's all good. So you know what the house needs and all that.
Yes.
If you can find yourself a private money guy, and then
Mhm.
if you find a guy and he's got the 100,000, whatever you decide you're going to need, all right,
Mhm.
then you
Yes.
ask him, what would you don't tell him what the interest rate is. So what would you be
Okay.
happy with? What are you getting now? What would you be happy with?
Okay. Right
Or
now,
you
I'm
know
paying
anybody,
6%.
you know,
I'm paying
you get
6% to her.
if you say you can even ask them, you know anybody that might be interested? I got a deal and here's the numbers. You know somebody
Okay.
that might be interested. I never ask anybody directly unless I've already got an ongoing relationship with them and I've done deals with this guy already. Then I just
Okay.
pick up the phone and say, listen, I got a deal for this. What do you think? Here's the override, you in or out, you know? And I just pick, and usually they're in. So
Okay.
yeah. But that sounds like a good deal. Now you can sell, you can bring the house in for the first year and lease
Mhm.
option it.
Okay.
Lease option it, collect a small fee up front, 4, 5, 6, 10 grand, whatever you can get, right? Turn
Right.
that around. They put them into the house that they're gonna clean this house up and make it inhabitable. They're
Yeah.
gonna do something with it, right? And just
Right.
make your lease option for a year or two. And I
Okay.
make it for a year and I give them a nice price on the house. You know, so listen, I give you a deal. But you know, if you're gonna say anything to them at all
Mm-hmm.
about doing work on your house,
Work for
you're
equity.
gonna put a roof in and all that, you have to get that in writing.
Yes.
You have to get that and have and you got to be able to penalize them
Right.
financially with the end price if the work doesn't get done by a certain
Okay.
date.
Okay.
And you got to do it so that everything is legal. You got to go ahead and make sure they pull the permits and do all that,
Right.
you know?
Okay.
But
Got
there's
it.
got to be something where they're not just going to move into your house and dog the thing out. And a year from now, you gave them a discount on the rent. You know, you could say, listen, this house rents for $1,000 a month. If over the first 3 months you get this and this and this and this done completely, or you could say, listen, it's $1,000 a month. If you get all this work done in the first 3 months, I'll rebate back to you $900. That's $300 a month. I
Right.
like doing that better because now I'm
Okay.
working with their money instead of them working with mine.
Mine. Okay. Got it.
So you give them a rebate, or you just but yeah, you just draw a check and give it back to them. Don't carry equity for them.
Okay.
And you're going to collect money up front as a lease option. Now, I'm sure Justin's done fixer uppers on lease options and all that, so he could probably give you a better idea how to put that deal together than I can. But if
Okay.
you're going to sell or finance it after that year is out, that's what I would do. You could blow their brains out. You can make a lot of money on this thing.
Okay.
Because what you're
Got
also
it.
going to be able to do is pay down your lender up front.
Yes. So I should be better going for like a mortgage payment, not just interest only payment. So that way the balance is coming down also.
Well, you can do interest only for the first year.
Okay.
Okay, but if you decide that you want to hold this guy's mortgage
Mm-hmm.
when you're over the year now, all right, you're going to
Okay.
hold the mortgage, all right. How are
Right.
you going to finance this? How are you going to finance your front end costs? Because you're going to give him the deed. If you're
Yeah,
doing a
you're right on
regular
that.
sale, if you're not doing a contract for deed, you're going to give him the deed. Once you give him the deed, you can't. Your financing options
Right.
are very
Right.
limited. You know,
Okay.
if you don't want to sell a mortgage, that's something else you could do.
Okay.
People don't talk about that. So if you're writing a 30-year mortgage or a 20-year mortgage for
Mhm.
$200,000 and the house is worth 160, 180, you could probably sell a mortgage 6 months into it with good payments, probably for around 130, 140,000,
Okay.
maybe more. I don't know. The guy to ask about that is Eddie Speed.
Okay.
You can have him price it out, but don't spitball with the guy. If you got a deal, then you call him.
Right.
You know.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
But
Thank you so much.
That's good. You got a good deal there, man. Don't let that one.
Yeah.
You put that one together. Finish that up. I want to hear from you next week.
Okay.
All right, man. Make it happen.
Right.
I'm proud of you. Keep
Yes.
it going, Rick.
Thank you, sir.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, back to Hervik. As he's sitting there on his 4th beer right now. He's sitting there slugging them down as we're all talking.
Nah, if I knew we were gonna be on the call this long, I would have got a second one. Look,
Hey, man, wipe
cup's
off your
still
lips,
empty.
man. You know, wipe off your lips. You're drooling there. Come on. What's going
I'm
on,
a-
man?
I'm a
What else
one
you want
beer-
to chat about?
I'm a 1 beer date.
Oh, shit. You're a cheap date. So listen, I'm in the Kissimmee. When we're gonna meet up down here in Florida? I would have gone to that meeting with you last week.
Yeah, it was all the way down here in Miami.
I don't care. I was in fucking go to Fort Myers and just drive across. That little gangplank you got down there.
How long are you gonna be in down here in South Florida?
Probably till the second or third week in March.
Then I
Yeah,
have
for a while.
family. I got my aunt and uncle in Naples, and my mother likes to go out there, spend the weekend out there once in a while. So I could plan a trip over there, maybe
There you
meet up
go.
over there, Fort
There
Myers
you
or
go,
something.
whatever. I'm around. I'm back and forth there all the time. I have to go
Okay.
down there this week again. I got to sign. I got a bunch of stuff I got to do. So you'll be around. Let me know. Call me, man.
You could take me out for Valentine's.
Yeah, right. Okay. Depends. You I ain't gonna say it. Never mind. I'm just not. You're not gonna make me say that.
He's a cheap date.
He's a cheap day. I know how cheap
Stop
he
recording.
is.
Stop recording before you say it.
I like your style.
I can't do that. Well, you know what? Why don't we sign off the recording and we can just sit here and talk for a few minutes?